It's the 21st EY Entrepreneur of the Year, the awards show that delves deep into the leading entrepreneurs from across the country, exploring the inner workings of the finest minds in business. 24 trailblazing innovators of commerce have been chosen across 3 categories: emerging, industry and international, but there can only be one winner, to be decided at the Grand Awards ceremony on October 25th. So let's meet the 2018 finalists. Up first in this 3-part series is our finalists from the emerging category. Finalists in the emerging category are high potential, dynamic, resourceful and ones to watch for the future. The Select 8 were asked to nominate someone who has proven to be an inspiration or guiding light to their career. Someone who has been there from the beginning and helped the finalists on their journey to success. These select mentors have experienced the good and bad times and are now here to support the finalists in telling their story and why they should be the 2018 EY Entrepreneur of the Year winner.
The EY Entrepreneur of the Year programme is supporting entrepreneurs. Now with almost 500 entrepreneurs in our alumni community, the real prize for these fantastic entrepreneurs is to become part of that unique alumni community that will have the opportunity to grow and develop over the years to come. On behalf of all of us in EY, I'd truly like to wish the 24 finalists the very best of luck and congratulate them for all that they've achieved in 2018.
Up first, Pat Rigney. Pat is the founder and owner of the Shed Distillery of PJ Rigney, the first distillery in Connacht in over 101 years, and the mastermind behind the Drumshanbo Gunpowder Irish Gin. He's joined by none other than his father, Seamus Rigney.
Well, Drumshanbo Gunpowder Irish Gin is based on the curious mind of PJ Rigney, which happens to be me, and my travels across the globe, picking up botanicals, bringing them back, distilling them at the Shed in Drumshanbo with some local botanicals. We started the Shed Distillery in 2014, and the objective was to create a platform to develop some world-class spirit brands. Seamus is my father, and I've learned from him the art of resilience, the art of working through problems, and really creating something from nothing. And so he's had an enormous influence over me over the years.
He was always an entrepreneur. He was always positive. It was always a question that the glass was half full, it was not half empty. And he had a great relationship with people.
Well, knowing that my dad and mum met in Drumshanbo did have an influence on me, and when I arrived in Drumshanbo in 2013, I got an extraordinarily warm welcome from the local community. Employment was a key part of what we were trying to create, so today we have 25 jobs created in a relatively short period of time, and most of them off the live register. That has been a big influence on me. We've been tremendously successful in the US with a very great partner, but we're also very successful in Russia, in Europe, in the UK, but we're becoming global very quickly. Over the next 10 years, we obviously wanted to develop Drumshanbo Gunpowder Irish Gin and our vodka and our whiskies, but we have a pipeline of brands. We will have a visitor centre in place over the next 18 months, which will employ at least another 25 folks locally and become a destination in Leitrim for tourism.
When I heard that Pat was nominated as a finalist for Entrepreneur of the Year, I was a particularly proud father. I knew the effort he's put into developing his enterprises over the years. I've no doubt that he continued to develop new brands as the years progress.
Next from the emerging category is Owen Leonard from i3PT Certification. Owen founded the company almost 7 years ago and is joined today by business partner Dr. Hugh O'Donnell.
I3PT stands for Independent Third Party Testing, and we certify buildings, which is to say we inspect and review construction and design in large-scale buildings to assure quality and to reduce risk. So the kind of things we've seen in the newspaper over the last number of years, I won't go into the specifics, but there's been a number of examples of buildings that have failed catastrophically, and I suppose we could see the writing was on the wall a number of years ago, and we realised that there was a need to do something about that.
I met Owen in 2012 in University College Cork, directly after a leadership talk I gave to an MBA group that he was part of. He approached me He had a business idea, it was interesting, we set up a meeting, and I was his first investor. And I see in the next 5 years, i3PT will be a global organisation that will be the first name on every major project.
So in terms of the types of projects we engage on, it's pretty much, we cover all aspects of the construction industry. So we could work on anything from a €500 million data centre in the Midlands to 12 social houses for one of the major city councils, and everything in between. Success for i3PT, and for me personally, in the future, I would look at it internally and externally in terms of how we impact on the external environment and internally within the company. And I guess externally, it's about better buildings, it's about growing the business. In terms of our internal goals, we want to be an employer of choice, we want to have a very low turnover of staff.
I think we've come off a long history in this industry of compliance, and people are being drilled with compliance, which is all outside in. i3PT is getting people to understand it from the inside out.
One of the things we always try to do at i3PT is to put ourselves in the shoes of the occupants, not just the clients. So we do think a lot about the people who are going to occupy, live and work in these buildings every day.
The third entrepreneur we'll be hearing from is Dara McCarthy from Fintru, the company which provides regulatory and technology resources to investment banks was founded in 2013. Dara's love for the business has caused his children to nickname it the fourth child. Dara is joined by his wife and Chief of Staff, Katrine.
Fintru provides regulatory and technology resources to investment banks to help them meet their regulatory obligations. In very simple terms, investment banks after the financial crisis were faced with a regulatory onslaught, and we set up Fintru to really help them make it that much easier. Our products are legal, risk, compliance, KYC, which is know your customer, operations, technology and consultancy. We currently work only with Tier 1 investment banks, and we have grown exponentially since we set up originally in Belfast in the last 4 years. Katrine is the Fintru Chief of Staff, but she's also my wife. She's my best friend and my partner in everything, and helps to keep me sane. Katrine brings everything to Fintru that I don't bring. She softens me, and I would probably take on too much business and grow too quickly. She is probably the only person that I truly listen to, and she's also incredibly critical of me, and I take that to heart.
He's very intelligent, but also very resilient. He goes for something and sticks with it until it comes through.
Fintru made a very significant announcement in the end of June 2018. We said we would create 605 new jobs in the next 5 years, 305 in the northwest in Derry, Londonderry, and 300 in Belfast. As far as I'm aware, I think it is the largest jobs announcement ever made by a company of our size on the island of Ireland in the economic history.
Dara is enormously dynamic and has an awful lot of energy, and he brings that to the company into everything he does. And I think you can feel that in the company itself.
Our fourth finalist is proud Corkonian Noel O'Hanlon. Noel is founder of Genesis Automation, a company which was established to develop software for managing costs and patient safety in hospitals. Although now living in Florida, somehow his Cork twang is stronger than ever. He's accompanied by an influential figure in his life, friend Jack Daly.
What Genesis does is very simple. We do two things essentially: patient safety and cost management for a hospital, or cost reduction. We came up with the idea, why don't we try and break into this market, into the consumable market for medical device manufacturing, by coming up with a solution for managing consignment inventory, which is a system where you loan the inventory, if you like, to the customer. The customer uses whatever they want, and then you replenish it afterwards and you send them a bill. That's really how it works. I have a goal of us having 400 to 500 hospitals using our software. That's the kind of the minimum threshold, if you like, that I set myself, and that's how I see success.
Noel is fundamentally a businessman, okay, who is not risk averse. He's very much into trying things, developing processes, taking risks. My background is engineering, which is the very opposite. I'm very much a structured approach. So we're probably different, but in one way complement each other.
I took over, went off to Australia in the late 80s and came back in the early 90s. And Jack then, I hired Jack and Jack joined us. See, Jack was a customer of ours. And then he joined one of our competitors. He started doing fierce damage to us. Remember?
For a while.
Yeah, for a while. So we thought we better
don't forget either.
we better hire this guy. So we hired Jack, and that was the start of it. So we partnered with the NHS in Plymouth and Devon. That's all we did. We designed this from scratch. There's loads of people who pack things in when it gets tough. If it's a good business idea, you know, rarely does it ever run smoothly all the time. Stuff goes wrong, and then you have to, you know, man up.
Hailing from Ballinasloe, County Galway, is Paddy Finn. Paddy established Electricity Exchange along with his business partner Duncan O'Toole in 2014. As well as that, he's also a fully trained rescue diver. But one thing at a time.
Electricity Exchange is a virtual power plant, and it's a bizarre concept for most people to think that you can have a virtual power plant. Everybody's used to seeing these on the horizon, you know, big chimney stacks, etc., right? But we know in terms of the biggest taxi company in the world, it doesn't own a single taxi. Biggest accommodation company in the world doesn't own a single B&B. We set up the company, myself and Duncan, in 2012. We started kind of banding around the idea as to what we wanted to do.
Like Paddy had a huge amount of experience in demand side, and we had this phrase, we still have it, smart grid. So yeah, the word smart grid is essentially a misnomer, and the more you understand about electricity, the more you work in it, the more you realise that it isn't that smart. In fact, it's quite dumb. Remember, we were chatting about it, and Paddy was saying how one of the largest demand side providers in the world was dispatching 70% of his customers through telephone calls. We realised, well, straight away, if I'm ringing you up to say, turn on your generator, then it ain't that smart.
You know, it was a very eye-opening moment for Duncan to go,
Yeah.
you know, there's a big opportunity here to actually make smart grid smart. So what we do, we can control electricity customers' generators that they have in large industrial sites. Effectively, we can control hundreds of sites like this around the country, and by controlling them all together and at the same time, we achieve the same net effect as a power plant. This time next year, we're going to be in one additional market outside of Ireland, in 2 years to be in 3 markets, and in 3 years to be in 10 markets outside of Ireland. So we're going to go into the dominant utilities that already exist in those markets, and we're going to enable them to actually expand their own business operations there by providing them with the services that we can provide, having our technologies being used as part of the solutions in those markets. A success in Electricity Exchange is increased renewable energy targets being achieved worldwide. We really do live and breathe the company, the two of us. Like we are, you know, Electricity Exchange, and we're so proud to be at the helm of this.
Next up is the founder of Carrick Therapeutics, Elaine Sullivan. Elaine set up Carrick in 2016 with the aim of bringing together leading research institutes and hospitals to drive groundbreaking cancer therapies. Elaine is joined by mentor Jenny Horsfield.
The company was set up to really develop transformational, innovative medicines that really made a difference to people with cancer. For us, it's about making sure that we're creating transformational change and also maintaining a quality of life for the cancer patients.
Elaine is truly an inspirational individual. She's got so much energy, she's really innovative, she's a great leader, and I have no doubt that Carrick is going to be successful. Her vision for the company is very clear.
My father had very, very aggressive stomach cancer, and he was given a very, very poor prognosis. And the clinician identified new treatment, which he was able to go on, and he actually lived for a number of years. And that really was amazing for me to see what transformational medicine could do to a patient's life. So the biggest achievement to date is the collaboration we have with Cancer Research UK and Imperial College London, where we collectively have developed a compound from preclinical into the clinic in record time, and that has now been in patients for several months, and we're very excited with the results that we're seeing.
One of the key things we have is we're kind of in tune with each other, and that's really important when we're partnering. That's how we work together, and and also we create, we work off each other's energy, and we have a lot of fun.
For us, our vision in 10 years' time is to be very proud of an incredibly successful company with a great success story. It's been amazingly special to be nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year, and it's just been an outstanding experience.
VR Education Holdings plc is a company which brings immersive technology to long-distance learning. Founders, husband and wife David and Sandra Whelan are joined by mentor Barry Downs to explain a little bit more.
We're a virtual reality company based in Waterford, and we are transforming how education is provided globally.
So Engage, it's a platform that we've created that would allow any educator anywhere in the world to teach anybody else anywhere in the world.
It's a tool set for educators to create their own content. So at the moment we're producing content to show the capabilities of the platform, but really it's designed for anybody to go in and create their own content using the tools that we have. And a product came about that really piqued my interest about 4.5 years ago, called the Oculus Rift. Tried it out and I was absolutely blown away by what I was looking at, and after that demonstration I just turned around to my wife, Sandra, and I said, I'm packing in web development, I'm selling the business and we're going into virtual reality.
Worst case scenario, if it all fell down, we'd live back with my mum and dad. That's what I actually said to him. I said, look, if you're that passionate about it and you want to make a go of it, let's just run with it.
I met Dave and he was talking about what he was doing at Apollo 11 and his vision for education being transformed by virtual reality. And then I met Sandra and I was completely blown away. In fact, I think I got a demo in your garage.
In our garage, yeah.
And I mean, what I saw in the guys were fantastic entrepreneurs with an incredible product vision.
I remember when I started the business, a lot of people were saying, who's going to give you money? Who's going to come work in Waterford? You know, game development. There is no game development in Ireland. What are you talking about?
You'll have to move to Dublin.
You'll have to go to America for virtual reality. Like, no one's going to do virtual reality in Ireland. And listening to all those comments and proving those people wrong really kind of gels us together.
It is one of the most interesting technology spaces to be in.
There was like 3 people in the company at that stage. We're against Pixar, we're against DreamWorks. You know, your expectations are like, Jesus, can we really win this, you know? But literally when I met Barry, it was just an idea. And then Barry helped me to turn it into a company. I definitely listened to Barry's advice, you know, and took on board what he was saying, and definitely changed how I pitched the company. Listening to the advice and the experience that Barry had hugely helped us, and any startup company definitely needs a mentor like that to help them.
Finally, in the emerging category is Dr. Joe Wiley from County Dublin. Joe is the founder of Amaret Pharma plc. He's joined by CFO and friend Rory Nealon. Amaret focus on the medical treatment of rare diseases.
So I'm the CEO. I run the day-to-day parts of the company. Roy does everything else, frankly. So
I'll get up earlier, I'll switch off earlier. This guy will be awake at 2 in the morning thinking about the business, sending texts or emails. You wake up the next morning dreading it sometimes, but anyway.
My wife tries to get me to put away my phone on holidays and this kind of thing. Yeah. But I would never put on an out of office, for example, even when I'm away. So Amaret Pharma is a full-service pharmaceutical business which Rory and I co-founded a little over 2.5 years ago now. We focus on treating rare and orphan diseases. These are diseases affecting very small numbers of patients. And so we treat diseases such as epidermolysis bullosa or EB, which are horrible diseases. That's known as the worst disease you've ever heard of. The children who get this get blistering of their skin. Ireland's very strong in pharmaceuticals, but hasn't got as many, companies that are developing drugs based here. I wanted to do that, be a European company based out of Dublin.
He's exceedingly good at keeping his calm and not showing the stresses that are invariably involved in a job, a high-pressure job like this. He tells every investor we've met, or potential investor, about how proud he is of having put a great team together. And one of the challenges of putting a great team together like that is actually motivating them, because you've got great people who've got great mindsets and are willing to speak their mind. They don't follow you all the time. So bringing those people with you is always a challenge, and then motivational skills is really key. So he literally tells every investor we meet that's the thing he's most proud of.
It is.
We've set ourselves an objective to get the market cap up to $1 billion. So this is going to be triggered by, in large part, the success of the development efforts of the drugs we're currently in clinical trials with.
For me, I would love to build a really big business, and that's not just for us, that's also for everybody else in this building and in the other facilities that we run. I'd really love to do that.
So that's it for our finalists in the emerging category. Join us in the next instalment of the series where we delve into the industry category and meet the entrepreneurs who are making waves in their field. Out of the 24, there can only be one winner.